there's a good element of improvisation going on, and I'm not talking about just movement, but all the different agencies. So improvisation of the media itself, without us even, just the software environment itself is improvising, has a agency.
Whoa.
And then
oh my god.
And then we're improvising how that's responding, and Akiko's also improvising within that, but all within a very composed structure. So think of it as like synchronized surfing, with the media being the ocean. It's alive, with us shaping in real time what Akiko could stand on, like the skateboard, surfing board. So we're shaping the behavior of surfing as Akiko's trying to surf on this, all while trying to stay true to choreographic and dramaturgic thoughts. So it's thunderous in some ways, but it keeps us on our feet, so it's fresh.
In my words, I usually use this word meta choreography.
Choreography.
So we're not choreographing particles. Well, partly yes, with the real-time control. That's like kind of choreography,
perhaps.
But that's
perhaps ecologies of behavior.
But rather we give the algorithm or how the particles behave in advance. That's in the program. So that's the meta part, and let particles do on its own, which is also like conversation with Akiko and the sound, the other particles, other virtual things in the world, like black hole, wind. Those are the things we're using to not directly choreograph particles, but to guide them and do some magic happen in real time. That's,
magic in real time.
Dancing, all the time thinking about the meaning of the movement sometimes. But in this project, I would like to discover the feeling. Sensor of the feeling is more sharpened and sharpened. I mean, feeling is easy word, but feeling is really like more based on a memory link with the knowledge and experience feeling. So many layers there are. So with this project, with this piece, improvisation a lot, but also we discuss what is focused on first, or it's really try to make a sharpen the trio. This three member is all the time talking about what is the main things and what is behind of that, like universe, cosmos, dead person, many it is coming. Everything is coming from our brain, memory, and also feeling of the body. So three of us.
Neither our process nor our conception is technology-centric at all.
No.
And we have, to put it in a more dystopic way, we don't have any artistic faith in technology on its own. Just as you shouldn't have artistic faith in water just because water is beautiful. It's another element that we could work with, going with the metaphor we gave in. And it's what we do with it.
Well, there are a number of different types of technology in the piece, and we're asking a lot of questions about what technology is. But the technology that is the most visible for the audience, and in the relationship between the audience and the performers, is the mirrors. Because the audience is facing the exterior of the theater, and they're seeing just through this landscape, vision mirror, fragments of movements, never really complete bodies, having to move and be implicated in a certain way to have visual access to the dancers and to the piece. We're interested in how these technologies are intervening in the overall context, or the context of the relationships that are possible. So the relationships between the dancers and the musicians, which are based on the musicians receiving an interpretation of their heart rate, which is being shaped through the hardware and the software and our programming of what they're going to hear and what sounds they're going to hear. The musicians are interpreting that, and it's a form of biofeedback, abstracted biofeedback for the dancers. The dancers are interpreting that, and through their movements and breath, there's then an impact on the signal. But none of these lines of relation are direct.
We shift the locus of time from something that musicians do collectively to a clock that's worn on the dancer. We shift the gaze of the audience to this object that allows them to see differently. And we think that we're just highlighting things that already exist so that we can make use of them in the piece itself. One of the things that we were interested in early on was how people could affect change in their physiology, how people could make intentional change in their heart rate, because it's a part of the musical feature as well. And we understood right away that breathing is a big part of that, and that you can make drastic changes in your heart rate and physiology just through breathing, not through so much movement and physical activity. And became part of the practice and it began to become part of Teoma's choreography and approach to choreography and training dancers and so on.
Mm-hmm. And to an extent it was already an aspect of my practice in terms of my interest in finding physically and also emotionally, psychologically extreme states, really extreme highs and extreme lows, and breath is a way to access those quickly with movement, and also to access our body weight in different ways, and to explore couplings and decouplings between inhales and exhales with falls or with jumps or with so inside of the choreography, this relationship of breath and weight and breath to extremes of exertion has become important. I'm interested in endurance.
Hello. Ça va bien, toi?
Diane, ça va? Dina.
Hello, Dina, comment tu vas?
Well, the piece is about human relations. Definitely. I think technology helps amplify what I saw the coming of cell phones. I remember when I used to wait to get a call. I remember when I used to get excited for someone to call, and so I saw the change. That to me, it was a big rupture in the way we relate, in the way we wait, the patience we have. So I think the piece is about if there is a statement and wants to be supported by the choreography and the mise en scène, is the illusion of it. Is the question of is technology really taking us further, or is it bringing more isolation? Is it just bringing this illusion that because we can buy something that makes us feel secure or makes us feel safe, we're actually better, or we have evolved, or so it's really about human relations. And because we're using live streaming video, it's a duet of two dancers that never touch, or that touch very little.
Ones that are good to wear because you can actually see, but it gives you the idea of like what you're not seeing.
So we were talking about multiplicity yesterday, and about all of these sort of layerings of not really, even in the physical investment of our bodies in the space, which will happen in multiple spaces in the Wilder, that there's also like these multiple spaces where the image is being is occupying the space. So there's the multiple layers of, well, you can watch the real body, or you can watch the filming of the real body, like the screen on the camera that's filming, or you can watch the projection of. So it's got these sort of multi-layer things, and then it's sort of as a performer in the work, having to move or be aware of all 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions of where I'm projecting to, and also where I'm being watched. So there's like that sort of ba-ba-ba echoing, and like ba-ba-ba being seen on many different planes at one time, with probably delay and probably with echo and all sorts of other things.
There's a treatment to the image for sure, but also not to forget that it's an in situ work. So also just the way you carry yourself changes because there is someone really close to you that you want to open your work to. You want to make it. You want to make an encounter with this person too. So it's just being aware that this person is going to be open to the way you're communicating. So I think that the work is a lot based on these shifts of presence with
shifts between hosting and acknowledging on through different media and through different levels of sort of filtration of like how many levels of remove before I'm actually talking or performing for the person in front of me or not in front of me.